Hello and welcome to a very special edition of Salute. This past Memorial Day, we visited several locations in honor and remember our veterans. I thought that we'd share these with you. We were at Leesburg, City of Leesburg. We were at Eagles Area 4273. Also, AMVET's post 2006. And Memorial Day is very special to me. Last year, I came back at this time from my World War II tour, only to find that a friend of mine had passed. Well, it's always special to me, Memorial Day, where we say thank you. Kandahar, that's where this flag flew. In Operation Enduring Freedom. Thank you all for your service. Till then. Color guard, halt. Left, hey. Preset, on.
We're David and Sandy Bach. We're Gold Star parents. We want to thank the City of Leesburg. Maggie, where are you? Thank you very much. I'm glad the city stepped forward to do something.
Yeah.
You guys, we have a lot of stories to share with you, but there's too many. And we want to thank you. As Gold Star parents, we're here in behalf of the City of Leesburg, Maggie, Bob, and of our son, Staff Sergeant Michael A. Bob. So now I'm going to turn it over to Sandy.
Again, it's absolutely our pleasure, and we thank the City of Leesburg. As being a Gold Star mom, there are so many emotions, so many things that come across your path that you never expected you would experience.
And we give to veterans and first responder charities is our mission. The Eagles is not a veterans organization, but they are good enough to allow us to use their facilities for our functions. So welcome to our Memorial Day ceremony. To me, there is no such thing as a happy Memorial Day. I just got to hold it more up here. It's a very solemn day to me. Never taken lightly in my household, as I'm sure it's not yours either. And people tell me, you're a veteran, thank you for your service, happy Memorial Day. It ain't about the veterans. It's about the ones that didn't get to take the uniform off, that didn't make it home to take it off, or that put it on so we could do things like we're doing today. It's called a Memorial Day prayer. They served and fought and died so that we might be safe and free. Grant them, O Lord, eternal peace and give them the victory. And in these days of unrest filled with grave uncertainty, let's not forget the price they paid to keep our country free. I just thought that was cool. Let's have the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Stand up, gentlemen, with your hands if you can. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. this point, I would like to introduce our guest speaker. His name is Staff Sergeant Jim Green, Jr. Well, whatever. Evidently got to hold it close.
Good morning. Welcome, veterans, families, and friends. To give you a little bit of information about myself, I was born in Michigan. While growing up in the 50s and 60s in a small town in the United States, Memorial Day was actually known as Decorations Day at that time. Sometime in the middle of May, I made the rounds of our small town cemeteries with my grandma and my mom to clean off the relatives, headstones, and plant flowers. At one point, I started noticing all the flags on certain graves. So I asked my grandma what they were for. And she told me with her wisdom, she says, go and look at them and read the headstones, and you'll find out what they're for. And so I did, and I read the stones where the flags were, and I realized they were the veterans. I read the front and the back of the stone, discovering they were all soldiers. By reading the dates, thanks to my history teachers, I could tell that some of them had died during time of war. The Civil War, World War I and II, and the Korean conflict. Then I found some that had lived through any wars and died later on. Still veterans that we want to remember. Then I saw names I recognized. Vietnam was already in full swing. As a teenager, I found out that one of the older neighborhood boys never came home at all. He was missing in action. It actually was nearly 50 years later when he did come home. They found his remains and brought him home to his family. The first Vietnam vet that I personally that I knew was my own cousin. He had just returned from Vietnam. In the middle of school years, Decoration Day meant the end of the school year was near, the beginning of summer. As a Boy Scout and later an Eagle Scout, we marched in the annual parade and participated in the remembrance ceremonies at our main cemetery. I was nearly done with high school when I enlisted in the Army. Then the day now known as Memorial Day took on a whole new meaning. I personally never went to combat, but I had brothers and sisters that served with and knew that were lost in training accidents. We lost them just like in war, but it was an accident. I knew some personally when it happened. So Memorial Day became personal to me. I knew and felt the duty and loss deep inside. One last thought. There are those among us with easily recognizable wounds, missing limbs, scars from burns. Possibly worse are those who are coping with scars inside that we cannot see. A common number quoted is that 22 veterans commit suicide each day. Let's not forget those brave men and women every day. Brothers and sisters that are gone, you are not forgotten. Thank you for your service.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again. At this time, Ms. Kathy Canales will lead us in our national anthem. Ms. Kathy.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Over here.
Veterans, teach hut. Present arms. Order. Armed. Rest. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our service for our veterans. We now will adjourn to the web room again for the Eagle service. I would like to thank Miss Miriam Bolton, our bagpipe lady, Miss Kathy Canales for singing our national anthem. Many people have brought the flags out. And also the Gold Star parents, Mr. and Miss Dave Bach, as well as Marge for doing our taps. Ladies and gentlemen, I will ask you to let the flag bearers go in first, and we shall follow. Thank you for being here today.
I'm Ron McLaren. I know a lot of you. There's some of you I don't know, but I'm the new post commander here, post 2006 AMVET. And I welcome you here today wholeheartedly. But first, I would like to start off asking you to uncover and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First off, I'd like to start off by giving thanks to everybody who had a part in this today. Everybody that brought a dish to pass, the people in the kitchen, Ellie Mae, Diane, Chaz out there slaving over the hot cooker out back there and stuff. Thanks to John and Les. I can't say enough about the people that helped put this together. I really can't. If I missed anybody, I'm truly sorry, but it took a lot to put this thing together. So I'm going to take some time just because I can. Okay, I don't want to make this too short, but I got a very interesting speaker here today, Bob, but I'm not going to bring him up yet. And then we got Cindy Brown. She's a representative for the congressman in our district here. She's going to have a few things to say. But first, I want to tell you 10 facts about Memorial Day. For many Americans, Memorial Day marks a fun-filled long weekend and an unofficial start of summer. However, the holiday was created for much more solemn purpose, commemorating the U.S. military personnel who died serving our country. In light of this meaningful history, it is important to remember the real reason for the holiday, rather than simply celebrating an extra day off of work. As the story goes, in 1996, a group of children were asked what Memorial Day meant to them, and they responded by saying, "That's the day the pool's open." As a result, the Clinton administration created National Moment of Remembrance in an effort to remind Americans of Memorial Day's significance. The first Memorial Day took place on May 30th, 1868. James A. Garfield, an Ohio congressman who would later become the 20th American president, gave a speech honoring fallen Civil War soldiers at Arlington National Cemetery. Afterwards, thousands of people decorated the graves of the fallen. This date was selected because that's when the spring flowers would be in full bloom. Second thing you probably don't know, that John A. Logan is considered the founder of Memorial Day. Logan served as a Union Army general during the Civil War and later resumed his career in politics. As head of the Grand Army of the Republic, a volunteer organization for Civil War veterans, Logan called for a National Day of Remembrance for fallen Civil War soldiers in 1868. The occasion became the basis for Memorial Day. American flags should be flown at half-mast from sunrise until noon on Memorial Day. We're running a little late here because we had a late start, but somewhere across the United States there's a time zone. When we get to it, it's going to be noon, okay? So you have to use your imagination, okay? All right. According to the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, the flag should be flown at half-staff from sunrise until noon only, then raised briskly to the top of the staff until sunset in honor of the nation's battle heroes on Memorial Day. Memorial Day was officially recognized as a federal holiday in 1971. How many remember 1971? Yeah, some of us remember it vaguely. Congress passed the Uniform Monday Holiday Act in 1971, which established Memorial Day as a federal holiday on the last Monday of May. Point number 5, every Memorial Day there is a wreath-laying ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Arlington National Cemetery is a symbolic grave for fallen soldiers whose remains are not found or identified. Number 6, Memorial Day was originally created for fallen soldiers of the Civil War. Since then, the holiday has been expanded to honor all U.S. military personnel who died while serving their country. Memorial Day was originally called Decoration Day. I remember that when I was a kid, Decoration Day. The name stemmed from the practice of decorating soldiers' graves in honor of their memory. Waterloo, New York is the official birthplace of the Memorial Day. President Lyndon B. Johnson named Waterloo, New York as the birthplace of Memorial Day in 1961. However, several other towns have also claimed that be the holiday's birthplace. Number 9, we're getting toward the end. Anybody tired yet? No, good. It's very interesting. I thought it very interesting. Many people wear poppies on the Friday before Memorial Day. May 24th is National Poppy Day. Since World War I, poppies have been commonly worn to honor fallen soldiers, largely due to John McCrae's popular poem In Flanders Field. Number 10, there is a national moment of silence at 3 p.m. Congress passed the National Moment of Remembrance Act in 2000. The act designates 3 p.m. on Memorial Day as a time for prayer and reflection. As stated by the Clinton administration, the purpose of the National Moment of Remembrance is to honor fallen soldiers and remind citizens of the true meaning of Memorial Day. That was the 10. The poem that inspired this is called In Flanders Field. One of history's most famous wartime poem, written in 1915 during the First World War by Canadian officer and surgeon John McCrae. It helped popularize the red poppy as a symbol of remembrance. When he volunteered at age 41 for the service in the First World War, McCrae wrote to a friend, "I am really rather afraid, but more afraid to stay home with my conscience." In April 1915, McCrae and a young friend, Alexis Helmler, joined the 18,000 soldiers for the 1st Canadian Division in their positions near Ypres, Belgium. The Second Battle of Ypres commenced on April 22nd and lasted for 6 hellish weeks. 6 weeks, them guys in them trenches, and just can't imagine. It was during this battle that the Germans launched the first large-scale of poison gas attacks of the war. A Montreal physician, McCrae served as a major and surgeon with the Canadian Field Army and the Canadian Expeditionary Forces. Ypres was the force's first major engagement in the war. The general impression in my mind is of a nightmare. McCrae wrote to his mother, and behind it all was the constant background of the sights of the dead, the wounded, the maimed, and a terrible anxiety lest the lines should give way. On May 2nd, Alexis Helmler was killed. Because the brigade chaplain was absent, McCrae, as a brigade doctor, conducted the burial service for his friend. At Helmler's grave, he wrote a few lines and verses that were the beginning of the poem In Flanders Field. McCrae later finished and sent a copy of the war poem to Spectator magazine in London, where it was rejected. But a journalist who visited the hospital took a copy back to Punch magazine, which printed it anonymously without McCrae's name. On December 1915, within months it became the most popular poem of the war. Its powerful use in the symbol of the poppies blooming the churned earth led to the tradition to this day of the poppy as a symbol of remembrance for those killed in service. By 1917, In Flanders Field was known throughout the English-speaking world as it was used to further the war effort or raise money for the troops to help recruit American soldiers as the United States mobilized to enter the war. John McCrae became a household name in the U.S. The poem. In Flanders Field, the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing. Fly scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with our foe. To you from frailing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep through poppies grow in Flanders Field. That's all I have for you. Now, I would like to bring, right at this time, I would like to bring Cindy Brown up, the representative for our congressman here in this district, and she has a few words to say. Watch your step.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Commander. Well, my name is Cindy Brown, and I serve Congressman Daniel Webster as his community relations in Leesburg and also Sumter County. So I saw Mr. Moreland recently, actually at the Saturday. The City of Leesburg had a Memorial Day ceremony. So thank you for letting me just stop by to say hello to you, and I'll give you just a quick message from the Congressman. I didn't bring his speech along with me, but first of all, I just want to thank each and every one of you for your service to our great country, your selfless sacrifice, and your dedication to serving of the greatest nation in the world. But we come today just to remember, and I think that's the most important. It is absolutely the right thing to be together today to honor and remember our fallen, who gave everything in service to their country. So it is wonderful that you're meeting today. And we also want to thank the mothers and fathers, sisters, brothers, children, aunts, uncles, and cousins whose lives have forever changed because of the death of their loved one who served the country. And I know each one of you here today that may have suffered along with your son or daughter or family member. It's something you'll never ever forget. Your life has been changed forever, but you know in the back of your mind what great sacrifice, what a hero your loved one is. So that's what I just wanted to share from the Congressman today. Thank you for giving it all and for supporting and honoring our veterans every day and those that are serving currently and keeping them in our prayers. So we love serving Leesburg and we love our veterans, so thank you so much for letting me just stop today. And God bless each of you and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Cindy. That was unexpected pleasure. We're glad you're here. You're always welcome back. So, right, now is my privilege to tell you about our guest speaker today. Most of you know him, so you know half of this is a bunch of lies, right? No, Bob is a really good guy. Our guest speaker today is Bob Peters. Bob Peters started involved in the Special Olympics of his home state of Connecticut before enlisting in the United States Air Force. Bob, we won't hold that against you, okay? Bob served 4 years and went overseas with B-52s in support of the Vietnam War. He was awarded the Vietnam Service Medal as well as the Vietnam Campaign and the Good Conduct Medals. After enlistment, he took a short break before being hired as a lineman for Connecticut Light and Power. During employment, he continued volunteering. Some of Bob's awards include, they started the Special Olympics in volleyball in Connecticut. Bob took the Special Olympics team to Canada and won first place in floor hockey. He's recognized for his service to the Danbury Regional Center for Coaching Special Olympics and awarded Outstanding Coach in 1983. A special award from the American Legion Post 174 to help bring the wall that heals to Oxford, Connecticut in 1998. Bob helped to create the Veterans Organization in Connecticut Light and Power in 1999. Bob is recognized by the Great Oak School of Oxford, Connecticut for 10 years of educational veterans programs from 1993 to 2004. Working with a great team of veterans in 2004, he was able to create a Veterans Park in his hometown of Oxford, Connecticut before moving to Florida. Since moving to Leesburg, Bob has the honor of working with many great veterans groups such as the AMVET, Project SOS, and USA Cares, to name just a few. Bob has been recognized by the Rotary Club of Leesburg in 2017, Achievement Award in 2022 from the AMVET's Post 2006 for service to veterans and community. Bob was honored with an affiliate membership to the Marine Corps Combat Correspondents Association in 2019. The AMVET's Green Hat Award in appreciation. Bob has received a lifetime for dedication and support to the Post 2006 from 2018 to 2019. Daughters of the American Revolution Community Service Award for contributions to the community in an outstanding manner through volunteering services on WQBQ 1410 radio. Bob has worked on many projects as the chairman of the Veterans Committee for the Fraternal Order of Eagles 4273 in Ocahonta, Florida. He is a proud member of the Vietnam Veterans of America, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, honorary member of the Korean War Veterans Association, Chapter 169, AMVET's Post 2006, and a lifetime member and past commander of the American Legion Post 174 in Oxford, Connecticut. Bob volunteered with the City of Leesburg TV station for 9.5 years. His program aired for 10 years before venturing out and forming a nonprofit Central Florida Salute Show on YouTube. Over the years, Bob has done an estimated 500 to 600 shows promoting veterans' causes and interviews. Bob has had many articles written about his volunteering, including an article in the VFW magazine in April of 2022. If you did not get a chance to read that article, see if you can find a copy of that. It is a really good article. But it is with great, great pleasure that I introduce you to my friend and my comrade, Bob Peters. Thank you, Bob.
This is a historical moment. I've never had anybody say so many nice things about me.
It ain't gonna happen again.
Ain't gonna happen again. I want to thank Ronnie and asking me if I would speak. I want to thank the AMVETs especially because, you know, as you heard, I do a YouTube show, and you're going to see some of that later. But also, that's my partner there, Sue Cameron. She's filming this for Central Florida Salute YouTube, so if anybody's in the witness protection program, I suggest you leave now. But anyway, she and I have been partners doing YouTube for almost 5 years now. Like I said before, 10 years I did with Lakefront TV. I have been involved with the veterans community for 38 years in one form or another. It's a passion. It's a passion. Memorial Day is special to me. You know, we say thank you. We don't say Happy Memorial Day, or, you know, it's thank you. Thank you, and I remember and I appreciate your service. Before I go on, I told Ronnie there's two people I want to recognize. There's two people in this audience who have for years didn't get the recognition I think they deserve. That's right. The past commander, Les Moreland. Stand up, sir, and take a round of applause. And his right-hand man and the guy who's always doing something here, John Jarbo. John, where are you? I couldn't have possibly worked with better people than those. But anyway, getting on with Memorial Day. In 38 years and 15 years almost doing TV, I have met a lot of men and women who talked about their service. I did the sacrifices they made. And as I look up here, there's all those past commanders. Well, there's 5 of them up there that are no longer with us, but they're here. They're here looking down on us. This is a post. It's not a bar. It's a post. And when I come in here, I think of Walter Moss. I think of Chuck Madrid. I think of a lot of people I sat at the bar stool with, or I brought them over to the Eagles and did a TV show with them. And I encourage you to go on to Central Florida Salute YouTube. You'll see a lot of people. I wrote something a few years ago. Well, quite a few years ago. I grew up in Danbury, Connecticut. We didn't have any money. My father got as far as the 6th grade. He had to quit to take care of his brothers. Those are the old days. My mom was a little lady. She only had one hand, but you couldn't tell her that she couldn't do anything. She did everything. The two of them raised my brother, his sister, and I, and we started out in a shack about half the size of this room. No electricity, no running water, but my uncles, most were World War II veterans, one Korean. They all came over and built my house that I grew up in. You know, you can't get any closer to family than that. And I have a special connection with World War II, Korea, and my brothers and sisters from Vietnam. And I've interviewed everybody, you name it, from the 1936 Olympics to Medal of Honor recipients, frogmen who led the way for Navy SEALs, all kinds of, I've done documentaries on airplanes. I'm very proud of what I've done. When I think of Memorial Day and Veterans Day are two of the special days for me, very special. Matter of fact, I got married 2 days before Veterans Day, so I wouldn't forget my anniversary.
Cinco de Mayo.
True story, yeah. True story. But I just want to say, there's 5 of those guys up there, commanders, who are with God now. People in this post, and it's a post, it's not a bar. It's a post. I need more people to join. We need more people to get involved. Amen. So that we can keep going on and helping our brothers and sisters that are serving. There's a lot of need for veterans' help. I have worked with a lot of organizations. This past couple of days, my partner and I were down at the City of Leesburg, and I want to thank them for putting on an event Saturday. It was awful hot. Could have had more people, but it was very hot. And it's the first time the City of Leesburg has done anything since 15 years that I've been here, 16 years. Yeah. We're veterans, you know, and there's a young lady named Maggie who is now the public relations person. So don't be surprised if Memorial Day you might see a parade. Wouldn't that be something? Yeah. But I've also been doing some other stuff. We just filmed a show with now up in the villages with Warrior Wheels, which is they do crisis intervention. They do get vehicles for veterans who need it, and also Ashley's House, which you don't know about Ashley's House. It's a women's transition housing, and we've been documenting the whole thing. There's so much history to see on Central Florida Salute YouTube, and I really want to thank AMVET post 2006 for their support of Central Florida Salute YouTube. So, we're going to show a little video. This is just a portion of one of my shows, because I want to talk about, I appreciate Ronnie asking me, and I got to tell you something. About this time last year, I came back from overseas. I did a World War II tour. I wanted to go to Normandy with my Uncle Ted, who was awarded Distinguished Cross for heroism on the beaches of D-Day. He got wounded in the leg after taking out a machine gun, was on his way to take out a pillbox, got hit in the eye and lost his eye. Laid on the beach for a day and they got him out of there. He was quite the man. He was my uncle. He was my second father also. And I can't tell you how much he has done for the veterans. He gave $130,000 to build a greenhouse in Rocky Hill Veterans Home and Hospital for the veterans, so they'd have fresh vegetables and flowers. And then they take the flowers out and the vegetables out, put them in the garden. That was enough to feed everybody at Rocky Hill Veterans Home and Hospital, but 3/4 of that food fed the homeless. That's my Uncle Ted's legacy. With Memorial Day, I think of my uncles, I think of my friends, I think of past commanders. It's just a special, special day, and I want to thank everybody.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly gleaming, and the rockets wreathed clear, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
This concludes his outside service.
To all our veterans out there, active military and their families, we salute you. For all you do. Till next time. Thank you all.